Yes, we are live. We are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first exclusive webinar of the Secure Cycle. I know a lot of you have been wondering what is going on with this Secure Cycle. What exactly do we are? What are we doing? But the Secure Cycle is actually an exclusive cycle for parents that have children with sickle cell. You know, when you want support, when you want to learn. It's a place where we learn how to parent right for people that have children with sickle cell. And that's not the only thing we do. It's also a place where we let you know that you are not alone. You have support, you have people around you, you have people taking care that can listen to you. Is a non-judgment zone. And today we are having our first exclusive webinar. We are talking about overcoming shame, guilt, and fear as a parent with a child with sickle cell. In my years of experience working with parents that have children with sickle cell, one of the things that are very, very common that affect the way we raise the children is actually because of the fear. It's actually because of these three emotions. So today we are going to talk about these emotions. If you are in the group, you know that yes, I know you know that we have been talking about shame, we have been talking about fear since Monday, and then today we are actually absolutely talking about what we can do. So it doesn't look like, as a parent, everything we focus on is often pain, their physical health. My child is, how can I prevent crisis? How can I do this? My child is not eating well. We focus too much on that. But one of the things we don't focus on is also how our parents affect the children, and also how our own emotions, how it can make those children to stop getting, to stop listening, to stop doing what they are supposed to do. So today we are talking about this, how you can overcome shame, guilt, and fear as a parent that have a child with sickle cell. So wherever you are joining from, do not forget to mention, tell me where you're joining from. It's so nice to have you here. It's so nice to have you here. So before we go into the lecture proper, I want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome you. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for being part of the second circle. This is our exclusive webinar. And yes, this is where we have our family meeting, where we teach ourselves something beyond. So there's so much we have in store for you if you are in this circle. So this is just the beginning. And so we also want to, there is a reason, there is an important, there is a way why this topic is very, very important. This topic is very important in a way that I know many people don't understand that, oh, this thing is important, but it is very important. If it's not important, why are we going to waste our time and bring in the topic as number one, the first topic we are dealing with? Why? When we don't address the shame that comes with having a child with sickle cell, it affects how our children receive health. It affects how the same children, how they seek help. It also affects how we deal with this sickle cell. And it also affects the self-esteem of our children. It also affects how they are going to behave, how they are going to relate, how they are going to see sickle cell, and how they are going to act it. A lot of people do not understand that sickle cell is not actually a big deal. Yes, I say it all the time. Sickle cell is actually not a big deal. But when you make it a big deal, your child starts seeing it as a very big deal. So why is this topic very, very important? Why should we overcome these negative emotions? Why do we want to overcome um why do you want to overcome these feelings? Parenting a child with sickle cell comes with a lot of unique challenges, ones that often goes unspoken. I work with a lot of parents to let you know that a lot of us goes with burden of shame. A lot of parents goes with burden of fear. A lot of parents goes with burden of guilt. We are loaded with guilt. If only you can turn the back of hand. If only there's no mistake. If only they did not do this. If only they did not do that. If only. But it has happened. You need to move on. You need to actually continue. You need to continue living your life. Now that the mistake has happened, whatever has happened, it has happened. Either there is a wrong diagnosis, yes, it's a mistake. Either there is ignorance, either because you did not know your genotype, whatever that has happened that allowed you to have a child with sickle cell, it is not the time to start feeling guilty. It is time to let go of those guilt. It is not the time to now start feeling ashamed. It is not a shameful thing to have a child that lives with sickle cell. It is not the time to start having fears, listening to negative news from people. No. So every time I'm talking to parents, I know a lot of parents are silently backing the feelings of shame, the feelings of guilt, the feelings of fear, and believing that they are alone in the struggles. A lot of parents don't want people to know that they have a child with sickle cell. They don't even want their own family to know that they have a child with sickle cell. A lot of people are doing it, and these are the struggles. The silent struggle of the guilt of you passing on the sickle cell gene. You will have to forgive yourself. The shame of societal judgment and stigma. People will judge you. They didn't understand. You don't hold them an explanation. You don't have to keep telling them it was a wrong diagnosis. You don't have to keep explaining how you were ignorant of it. You don't need more to do it. That struggles are there. The fear of not being able to protect yourself. Every child you see that child in pain. Every time you see that child in pain, you are always having a fear. Will this child live long? Hey, oh, my child will give birth. Oh, my child will be able to get married. Oh, my child will be able to go to school. Oh, my child will be able to live beyond 10 years. Oh, my child will be able to survive all this. This anxiety that comes with, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? What is this one working? Is this one not working? Those are the things that we do. And these emotions, they are negative emotions. And when they are not being addressed, it become overwhelming. It impacts you as a parent, it impacts your well-being, and also the child's care and emotional health. One of the things that affect children living with sickle cell is their emotional health. One of the things that trigger their crisis is their emotional health. And we develop our emotional health from our parents. So if you as a parent have unstable form of emotions, your child will have unstable emotion. So when you have that fear about sickle cell, what do you think your child is dealing with? Your child is also dealing with a body times two of your own body. So when you now are, what is the impact of these emotions? What are the impact of this emotion? It delays in seeking medical care due to the feelings of shame or self-blame. We see a lot of parents that they are not talking to the right person. That time when they are supposed to have been at the hospital, they don't want to. They are hiding it. You see them. I don't want anybody to know that I have HIV sickle cell. I don't want people to know. That time when they are supposed to seek help, when they are supposed to act, they don't want people. They don't even want to talk to anything related to sickle cell. They are that ashamed, and because it's not affecting your child. So your child has to come with complications. You don't know. You don't even want to belong to a group. You don't even want to look for a support system where they can explain to you what is happening. All because or feelings of shame, or because you are blaming yourself, you start over protecting or resist your child activities out of fear. Don't do this, don't play, don't this, don't do that, you cannot do it. It's too much. Sometimes you know I work with parents, and I often wonder where is this thing coming from. You see a child that live with sickle cell at 25, they cannot even go to the next town on their own, because there is overprotection. There is this fear. We are living in a constant fear. The constant fear of what will happen. Avoidance of unnecessary conversation. There's some conversation you need to have, because you have shame, you are guilty, or you have fear. It affects your decision making. So the time you're supposed to be having a good conversation, you need to have this conversation, necessary conversation, maybe with schools, maybe with family members, maybe with their caregiver, maybe even with the child. You avoid it. You avoid it. Some people even do it to the extent that they go to the hospital and hide that the child is living with sickle cell. So you are emotional burnout when you are dealing with all this emotion and you are not addressing it. You are leading yourself to frustration. You are leading yourself to frustration, helplessness, and stress in caregiving. It's not easy for you to raise a child with sickle cell, but when you don't do the right thing, you are going to be having an emotional outburst. Please, if you can hear me, just say loud and clear. If you can hear me, say loud and clear. If not, let's continue. So, how overcoming these emotions can lead to empowered and confident parenting. So, by releasing shame, you embrace your role with confidence and clarity. There is nothing to be shameful with. It's not a shame that you have a child with sickle cell. It's not shameful. If you start feeling shame because you have a child with sickle cell, whatever you are directly telling that child is that that child is not good enough. And that is actually the basis of children picking low self-esteem, picking emotional stress, seeing themselves differently, because it is powerful. When you associate shame with sickle cell, your child is seeing themselves as not normal. They are seeing themselves as I'm not somebody that people should work with. They can't go with, they are not confident in themselves. They see themselves that they are not worthy. They are not good enough. That's the message you are passing. You are telling them that there is something wrong with their creation, and that creation is making you to be ashamed. You are ashamed of their being. So it means that they are not good enough. Even they are not perfect. They are not the child that you wanted. That's what you're saying indirectly, because action speaks louder than voice. When you confront guilt, you focus on what you can control rather than self-blame. When you confront guilt, you are telling yourself that it is not my fault. Whatever happened, I'm going to start looking forward and see how I can control this situation. How can I manage this thing better? How can I ensure that this child thrives with sickle cell? How can I learn and know how to manage this child better? When you stop feeling guilty, you are going to focus on what you can control rather than keep blaming yourself. If you blame yourself from beginning till now, from since from 3 years ago that you have been blaming yourself, what has changed? It has not changed anything. So you don't want to even blame yourself. By overcoming fear, you are becoming proactive instead of reactive in your child care. Every time, children with sickle cell, we are always reacting. So even when the child has ability, mommy, I want to be a nurse. No, you can't. Mommy, I would like to be a musician. The child is still 5 years. No, you can never be a musician. And then we use this negativity to affect the child potential, to affect how the child start looking at them. You start reacting on anything. When the even when the child, oh, what will happen? Hey, what will happen? Mommy, I just want to. No, 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 no. You to what end? Hmm? So the journey we today we are not going. I'm not teaching us that about ignoring. No, this is not about you ignoring the emotions. The emotions are normal, but we are working with you to actually acknowledge that emotion. The best way you can actually overcome any negative emotion is to acknowledge that that emotion is there. So the emotions that you feel guilty is there. You must acknowledge it. You must acknowledge that you self blame. You are parenting in fear. You must acknowledge it. You must also acknowledge the fact that you you are ashamed. There's shame. You're dealing with a level of shame. So if you're not acknowledging this, then there's no how you are going to overcome this issue. Hi, so if you're joining us and you can hear me loud and clear, let me know in the comment section. Yes, thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section if you're just joining us. Tell us where you're coming from, and um. So now today we are going to talk about understanding your emotions. We are talking about shame first. Shame, the burden of stigma. Every time I'm talking about stigma, I realize that stigma starts from home. It starts on how the parents see. So when you see sickle cell as a big deal, your child is going to see sickle cell as a big deal. When you see sickle cell as something shameful, your child is going to feel shameful. So it means that when they go outside, they are already feeling that they can't stand up to their mate. So when somebody now come and now insult them as a sickler, they are going to stay, they are going to hide themselves because they already have that feeling, they already internalize it from home that they are unworthy, that it is shameful for somebody like them to exist. And it depends on how many of the parents actually does that. So now, how do you know that you are dealing with shame? You have shame. Shame often comes with societal judgments. When you go to the hospital, people are going to judge you, especially this 2025. People are going to judge you for having a child with sickle cell. What are you looking with all the awareness that is outside there, without it, not without understanding how either it's a wrong diagnosis, either you didn't even know, either you be married 40 years ago. Nobody wants to know. Yes, nobody wants to know. Nobody. Nobody really wants to know. So at that point in time, um you might want to you understand, you might want to oh sorry for something else. Oh, sorry, so sorry, so sorry. Um, the whatever is on the screen was not correct, so I have to change it. Okay, so how shame affects you? If you are dealing with shame, how shame affects? How do you know that you are dealing with shame, even though you believe that you're not dealing with shame? Avoiding conversation about sickle. If you find yourself avoiding conversation around sickle, you don't want to talk about it, you are feeling shame, that the burden of that stigma is on you. You're feeling it. Number two, when you start feeling like you need to hide your child condition, you are always hiding your, even though when you go to people that you need help from, you are at the hospital. I've had cases like that over and over and over again. You see somebody that has a child with sickle cell, they come to the hospitals and they are talking to the medical doctors and they let out the most important information out, because fever in ordinary child and fever in a child with sickle cell are not the same. The way they are going to attend to a child, so instead of that child, they will start racking their brain trying to know what is wrong and all that. And the mother know that the child live in sickle cell. And why are you not staying? I work with a particular time one time, and the child was at the hospital. We sent the child to the hospital, and then they treated the child. And the mother was like, because they were supposed to admit the child at the hospital. They were supposed to admit, like, to put the child on admission. And so I called as a follow up and I asked, is the child now on admission? They said no, they didn't do any tests, PCV, NPC, any of it. He said no, he said they just gave the hospital and the child is not well. They did not. I said, and I asked because I was wondering what kind of a doctor would do all this. Then I asked, I said, please, did you tell the doctor that this child believes in sickle? He said, no, I don't want to tell the doctor. I don't want anybody to stand no. I said, oh, so you take a child that lives with sickle cell to the hospital and you're expecting good treatment, but you did not open up and tell the doctor that this child lives with sickle cell. That is actually the first day the doctor. So he went back the second day and the doctor was like, what? So how could you hide this? He puts the child on admission, run the necessary tests, and start treatment. And I asked, you don't ask it like you're ashamed. Why are you ashamed? Sickle cell is not something you need to be ashamed of. Hmm? When you start doubting your ability as a parent, you know, you start doubting your ability, things you're supposed to do, you don't even know. It's because you feel ashamed when you start doubting your ability. And how do you want to do? How do you want to overcome shame as a parent? No, before we go to that, let's talk about guilt. A lot of parents are feel guilty for passing the sickle cell gene to their child. Is what they feel. The burden of that guilt is on their shoulder. They are feeling bad. They are feeling miserable. And every time that child is in crisis, they are always they are always in that feeling. They are. There's nothing you can do. It has happened. Guilt can lead to emotional exhaustion. Guilt can lead to self-criticism. If you are a parent that you're overwhelmed with guilt, you cannot raise a child with sickle cell well, because you're going to pass your aggression to that child. You are going to pass that guilt to them. It is going to make you to parent the wrong way. So with that guilt, things that you're supposed to have done, you will not do it. Things you're supposed not to do, you will keep doing it because you are being controlled by guilt. So how does this guilt affect you? Every time the child is in pain, you feel responsible for your child pain. Look at it. You're always blaming your child every time the child is in pain. You have forgotten there are other factors that affect that child to be in pain. They also have their own decision. You keep questioning yourself over and over again. You are not doing enough, even though when you know that you're doing your best. You overcompensate for trying to be a perfect parent. You can't be. There's no perfection with parenting. And when I said overcompensate, some parents will want to, if possible, they want to take they want to do everything for their child, all in the name of their feeling guilty. When the child is supposed to start getting be, learning how to be independent, learning how to handle the sickle cell, learning how to know about their medication. No, they feel it is their burden. So they take the burden. You are not doing anything for that child. You are actually raising that child to not to thrive with sickle cell. You are actually raising that child to become a burden. Because no matter how you look at it, you can't be there forever. You can't. So you need to actually ensure that you are raising the child. You don't have to overcompensate. I want to do this. I want to do that. You are just giving in. Nothing. You don't want anybody to question. In fact, most of us go extra miles to the extent that it start causing a rivalry between the siblings. We focus on one person and neglect other children because we are trying to overcompensate. We neglect the other children as if those ones are not children. And before you know it, those ones start getting angry. They start looking their sister as the person that stole away their mother or the person that stole away their parent from them. And before you know it, it start turning to resentment. They start resenting. Some of them even wish that they live in sickle cell. You start bringing in troubles into your home. Fear, the exciting of the unknown. Fear is another thing. It's a natural emotion. It is actually important that we have it. See, anytime if you are raising a child with sickle cell, it's important for you to know that fear is something that is constant. You will have that fear. But however, when you don't manage fear, it leads to stress and overprotection. That's it. It leads to fear. And how do you know that you are in fear? You have fear as a parent. You are constant worry about crisis or hospital visits. You are always, yes, you are constantly, you are constantly, you constant worry about hospital visits, crisis, every other thing. You are always feeling like that. You feel powerless over your child's future. Hello, will my child live long? Will my child become successful? Will my child this? Will my child that? Will my child this? Some parents cannot even rest. They cannot even sleep. They cannot even do anything. They cannot even go to work. Hey, my child, oh, my child, oh. You are afraid for your child to engage in normal activities. Sometimes when I'm working with parents and I ask, please allow the child to play. They say no. The doctor said, stress is very, very bad for them. Stress is not working for them at all. So I don't allow the child to play. Play is not stress for your child. Play is actually how your child distress. If you don't know that, if you are a parent to a child living with sickle cell and you don't know that play is a very important aspect of your child development, then you you are making a wrong decision. Play is a way your child distress, is a way they let go of stress. When a child gets stressed, they don't say I'm stressed. They don't tell you that I'm stressed. They tell you that I want to play. So when your child go outside and they are having issues and they feel overwhelmed because they don't know what is happening to them, they want to play. So you should allow the child to play. It is actually very important for them to play. So if you are now overprotecting them, you don't allow them to play, and you're saying that is when you are stressing them. You are emotionally stressing them when you don't allow your child, even with sickle cell, to play. You are actually telling them something is wrong with them. You are actually telling them they are not normal. You are actually telling them play is not for them, and they will answer. So before you know it, they start isolating themselves. You should not allow fear to allow you not to engage, not to allow your child to engage in normal activities. Instead, you should focus on how can they engage in these normal activities without triggering their crisis. That's what should be on your head. You should not focus on don'ts. There is everything parents will say, don't. Instead of don't, you should be working with how can I, how can we do this? What's the way around this place? What's the way around it? How can we prevent this? That's the question. That's what you should be asking. Hmm? That's what you should be asking. So, how do you now overcome shame? How do you overcome these emotions? How do you overcome guilt? How do you overcome? Number one, you need to educate yourself, which is what we are doing. Knowledge help to combat stigma. You as a parent, that's the reason why you're in this sector to learn. So you are going to learn. You are going to learn, and we keep learning. And that's the reason we are teaching you here to let go of those emotions. You are going to keep reminding yourself your child's condition is not a reflection of your worth. That you have a child with sickle cell doesn't determine your worth, doesn't determine your place in the society, doesn't make you a bad mother, doesn't make you a useless parent. No. So you are going to sit down. Your child condition, yes, your child has sickle cell. You is an inherited disorder, but that child condition is not a reflection of who you are. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's not a reflection of how good you are as a parent. So you're going to let go of that. And you are also going to tell yourself, if you don't have the genetics, you cannot pass it on. So it's something that you inherited. It's not something you need to pass on. So you are going to call yourself and tell yourself, you did not choose this. Sometimes people say that at this age, parents go out there and they start having a child with sickle cell, and they just have a child. Sorry. And they just have a child with all this awareness. And I'm here to remind people, nobody chooses this. It's either there is a wrong knowledge somewhere else, where people have a wrong knowledge about sickle cell. There is a they are not aware, or they don't even know it existed. So, like me, my parents did not know. So, how do you now go and start making this kind of parent that have no knowledge about genetics, about genotype? How do you start blaming them? They didn't have the knowledge. And the same thing, there is a lot of wrong information out there. So it is not your fault. Believe me, beyond whatever society wants to say, it is not your fault. So you always want to tell you, genetics is not your fault. That your child has sickle cell, yes, in as much as you want to blame yourself, I'm telling you, you didn't choose this. It is genetics. Genetics is not your fault. You want to focus on what you can control. Provide care. Learn about XCD. Learn to advocate for your child. Learn to teach your child how to advocate for your child, for them, for themselves. See, one of the mistakes a lot of parents make is that we don't learn to advocate for our child. If you are not advocating for your child is not going to learn how to stand up for themselves. They are not going to learn how to advocate for themselves. And it is important that we have this at the back of our mind. Focus on what you can control. The things that you can control, what are those things? Prevention of crisis, the diets, hydration, prevention of infection, stress. And you must you must provide care the right way. You must also learn about sickle cell for you to be able to care for them the right way. If you're not learning about sickle cell, you can't focus on the control. So it means that we are still doing a lot of webinars throughout this year. You have to show up because that's the way you are learning. You have to come out. You have to tell people, yes, it is time. You must show up. If you're not showing up, then not something is wrong. You must show up. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and acknowledge your efforts. You have done well. You can do better. But you see the small one that you have done. Acknowledge yourself. The small one that you have done, acknowledge yourself. Do not say that, oh, I wish I can do better. Yes, you can do better. But acknowledge to yourself. A lot of parents that have child with sickle does not extend grace. Extend grace. If you are not stable emotionally, you will not be able to manage your child with sickle cell, and that child will suffer for it. Turn your fear into preparation. This is one of the voice note I said on Monday. Plan. Work hand in hand with every other person in the family. So when you are not around, create a plan. There should be a plan for your crisis. There should be a plan for emergency. What should happen? Turn your fear into preparation. Let that fear turn it to ability to make things for yourself. Turn it to ability to prepare ahead. So if your fear is, I don't want this child to fall sick, then what are you doing to prevent the child from falling sick? What are you doing to prevent the child from having crisis? What are you doing to prepare your child in case emergency happen? Are you prepared for that emergency? Are you prepared for that crisis? Work with your doctors. Work with other people. And that's the reason why you're in Sickle, to work with professionals. Empower your child. Your child will not remain small forever. And you cannot always be with your child forever. So one of the way you can control your fear is to empower your child. Teach them to recognize the symptoms. It is their body. So they know those symptoms better. They know exactly how they feel per time. You must be able to build a connection with them that allow them to tell you, that allow them to open up about their symptoms, that allow them to take care of themselves when you're not there. You can't follow them around for 24 hours. No, you can't do it. So you want to empower them to do better. You want to empower your child to do better, to take charge. To take charge. So what do you want to, so how do you now create an emotional strength? So we talk about um we talk about fear, we talk about guilt, we talk about shame, and we talk about what we can do to overcome it. So we want to talk about strategies for emotional strength. You need to learn how to regulate your emotions. Yes, you need to learn how to regulate your emotions. One of the things a lot of people are not doing is that we parent alone. You want to parent with someone that understand what you're going through. You want to talk with people in the community. We have a WhatsApp group. You want to mingle. You want to have somebody you connect with. You want to talk to people that understand your knowledge. Eh? And that's exactly why the Sickle is there. You can always chat up. You can always reach out to me. You can always send a message. How you feel overwhelmed, you can always put it on the group so that people can give you the support that you need. You want to talk to, you don't want to parent alone. You want to carry your other children along. You want to carry your partner along, your husband or your wife. They are very important. So it's not about you alone. It's about everybody in the family. Because no how, sickle cell affects everybody in the family. So you want them to you want to work together, you want to create a plan that okay, if this is not happening, A is there, B is there, this is what they can do. You want to have you want to have a coping mechanism. How do you cope? That time, who is that person that you can talk to? That's the reason why you are paying for the second cycle. So it means that you can call me and talk to me if you feel overwhelmed. And you should know that you will not get judged in that place. Sometimes you want to write down your emotions. What is those emotions you're feeling? You want to release those guilt. You want to release those shame. You want to be able to see yourself better. Every time you want to react, you want to breathe in first. Take in your breathing. Especially when the child is having crisis, you're feeling overwhelmed, you want to cry. At that time, calm down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. By the time you've done it for like 10 seconds, you are calm. You feel much calmer. And then you can tackle the situation. You can tackle the situation. You want to engage people that work with your child. So you want to talk to the teachers. You want to educate them. Sometimes you just go there like, oh, you see, my child. I was in class, and you see parent call me, my child live with sickle cell. You understand? I understand the stigma. And like, please, oh, you see this child, don't do this. And a lot of children capitalize on that to start behaving badly in class. So as a teacher, it becomes very difficult. Sometimes you are forced to the extent to neglect those children. But as somebody that live with that condition, I understand better. You can't neglect them. So what do? When I was a teacher, I took it upon myself to teach other staffs on sickle cell, to tell them how to handle the child, to let them to feel among. Everybody is doing PE, everybody is doing it. Please, remove my child. My child is living with sickle cell. You are telling them to stigmatize your child. It will get bad. It will keep getting bad. Instead, what do? Educate the teachers. Educate your workers. Let them know what to do part time. Let them know how to manage it. So you're in the role you want to focus on things you can control. Those are the things you can control. Educate the siblings. Educate your partner. So you're not the only one that should be looking for knowledge. Everybody should be involved. Educate the child. And the way we educate matters. You don't want to be screaming, you don't want to be shaming, you don't want to be condemning. To educate, it doesn't work that way. You want to do it graciously. You want to do it with kindness. You want to do it with understanding. So no matter what it is today, I want to tell you that you are a strong parent, you are a loving parent. Nobody has a child and you said that you don't love your child. You are a capable parent. So you want to tell yourself that every time you're feeling an overwhelming emotions, you want to tell your child, I am not to be blamed for my child condition. You are not to be blamed. It's a genetic disorder, but you are not to be blamed. Yes. Your child will do well. Sickle cell is not a death sentence. Your child will survive. Your child will live long. Your child will strive. So why do you want to kill yourself? Fear should not control you. Fear should make you to start preparing. So whatever you're feeling, allow fear to start helping you to prepare ahead. Allow fear to start helping you to prepare ahead. So every time that thing that you feared the most, start working on it. Start preparing ahead for it. So instead of feeling guilty, you want to embrace love. You want to be kind to yourself. You want to celebrate yourself. You want to acknowledge your efforts. And by the time you do this, you start seeing a changes in what you are doing. So I want to say thank you. I want to tell you that you are doing your best as a parent, and when we acknowledge that we have this emotion, it becomes easier to manage. We still have a course on controlling emotions, emotional intelligence course for parents, and that's going to be later in the year. But as this is just the first part, and I think next month we're going to go deeper into understanding what something about sickle cell. So whatever it is, please take care of yourself, and please watch the replay. Hmm? Watch the replay. The replay is very important for you. Watch it. Watch the replay. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. So I'll be dropping some activities on the group. That activities we are going to do it, and then we are going to submit on, I think, Monday. No, we're going to submit in 2 weeks' time. So it means that you work on your activities. Anybody that doesn't work on the activities, I will remove them. You have to, there is consequences for you not doing your exercises. Yes, this time around there is consequence. So you want to do your activities, and then you want to get involved. So take care of yourself. Bye, and see you in our next webinar. Bye.